So what I remember from 9/11 was I was working as a wildland firefighter at that time, and we'd been deployed to Idaho to work on some fires there. And it was that morning we'd woke up, we went to have breakfast, and while we were kind of just getting started on breakfast, someone on our crew says, "Hey, a plane just hit one of the World Trade Centers." And at that point we thought it was an accident had happened, so we were all just kind of talking about it, you know, trying to make sense of that. And then as we continued throughout the morning, we heard about the second plane hitting the other tower, and that's when it really became apparent and really sank in that this was much bigger than an accident, that it was intentional. So we were working with the BLM that day, and we were to report to the BLM office in Burley, Idaho, little tiny Burley, Idaho. It's so far from this event, you know, you wouldn't think there's a correlation there at all. And we get there, and the gate is locked, and there's someone there manning it, and they unlock the gate and let us through and lock the gate behind us. And that was another moment where I thought, this is bigger than I realize. And because it was a federal property, that's kind of what they put in place to, until we knew more, until we knew what was going to happen. Was there going to be more that would happen? So once we got in there was a TV, and that was the first time we got to see for ourselves what was happening. And that was probably the biggest moment, when you actually see footage of these two towers. They were still burning. They hadn't fallen. And so I don't know how many people, I want to say there was probably 50 or 60 people in this tiny room, went around this one little TV, and what we were going to do for the day had all changed because of that. We weren't technically on a fire. We were going to be doing some project work to do fire mitigation work. And so they kind of put a halt on that. And we just sat there and watched, and it was pretty daunting. I had only been married, I got married in December of 2000, and here we are in September. And so I left my wife behind, and I knew she was seeing this, and I wasn't there with her. And so through phone calls we were able to connect. But that was an eerie feeling of something that big and being away from home. But it was kind of a weight that I felt that day, I remember. And an interesting connection to this is the station we worked at was in Salt Lake. It was a fire station that was no longer used for daily operations. It was for our wildland program, and they also parked all of the equipment for their Utah Urban Search and Rescue Team. So each time we got deployed, we were usually leaving the state, or at least far from the area. And so they say, leave your keys, because if the Urban Search and Rescue Team ever needs to be deployed, they'll need to move your vehicles to access equipment. But that's never happened before. We've never actually needed them. But we had a couple members on our team that were part of that, and this is the first time they got deployed, and they were being deployed to Ground Zero to go help search. And just one more connection that made it real of how real this was and what was happening. And it hit closer to home because of that. I actually watched people leave to go search, and that was pretty significant. And so the reality of this world that I knew that was just normal and safe, now that we had something happen on American soil, it changed things, I think. So it really hit home for me, and I never forget it. I've been able to tell this story this way, the exact same from that day. I've just never, it seems like I didn't forget a detail of it because of the impact that it had on me. And so it was a big day. And then of course there was following up after that of this American spirit that came alive that was awesome, and I think necessary at the time because it was such a big event that affected so many people and hit so close to home, obviously. So very interesting time, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to reflect on that and remember it.